our radio broadcast today, but in person, because usually I don't do radio broadcast in person. I usually do it just plain because I don't want people to focus on the visuals because I have baby in the background and everything. Thank you all for being here. Good morning, folks. Good morning. Today is December 11th, 2025. And this is War Notes. I am Pavi LG, your host, coming to you with a fresh live update on the most important news unfolding in the last 24 hours. Now, today, we bring you breaking global events, right? Geopolitical tensions, economic developments, and national headlines that matter to you, family, to me, and the world beyond our shores. So grab your seat, listen closely. Here's what's happening today for December 11th. And we shall move quickly through it because I have things to tend to and I have a child. I have four children, but I have one little child, so it occupies a lot of my time, and sometimes it's tough. Thank you all for being here. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. Over the past day, international tensions have escalated sharply after the United States seized a sanctioned Venezuelan oil tanker and said that the United States intends to retain the ship and its cargo, a move Caracas denounced as international piracy. Critics in the U.S. expressed concerns that this could be seen as a significant escalation. I feel the same way too, fueling fears of broader confrontation in the Western Hemisphere. Meanwhile, all oil markets reacted to these geopolitical pressures after the initial gains tied to the tanker news. Prices slipped as traders shifted focus back to ongoing Ukraine peace negotiations and broader global supply expectations. Now, Brent crude and U.S. benchmarks were down modestly, signaling persistent volatility rather than a sharp supply shock. Now, I will continue with the news, of course, in just one moment, and I will return back in less than 30 seconds to continue. I am continuing. I'm back. So in the economic sphere, the Federal Reserve announced its third consecutive rate cut, lowering the federal funds rate as economic uncertainties do persist, including a softening labor market and rising concerns about growth. Global markets showed mixed reactions with technological stocks leaders like Oracle, experiencing sharp declines after disappointing earnings reports. I think, of course, that's going to change because, as you can see, AI seems to be taking over everything now these days. Anywho, so we're just considered basic right now in East Asia. U.S. strategic bombers joined Japanese fighter jets over the Sea of Japan in a high-profile show of force and ongoing concerns over regional security, particularly around North Korean and Chinese military activities. Now, this joint operation underscores growing U.S.-Japan military cooperation in a period of heightened strategic tension in the Indo-Pacific. Elsewhere around the globe, heavy rains and flooding in Gaza, compounded by ongoing conflict, have tragically exacerbated humanitarian conditions, killing civilians and forcing hundreds of thousands into urgent need of shelter and aid. And that is also according to Al Jazeera and 5 other reputable sources too as well. Now, turning very quickly to proportional global focus, the no ceremony, I'm sure that you all seen, took place in Oslo this week, where Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado, was honored, though she did not attend. The Nobel Committee cited her work promoting human rights and peaceful democratic transition in her homeland amid ongoing controversy, as you can see, and protests around her recognition, or her recognition, shall I say. We will return in less than 30 seconds, or I will return. I'll jump back in this seat in less than 30 seconds after I go check on the baby real quick and come right back. We'll be right back in just one moment. All right, you all, I am back. So continuing very quickly, back in the United States, domestic headlines for new contracts. Okay, that's a big thing right now. The Department of Homeland Security is to acquire or will acquire the Boeing 737 aircraft for deportation flights, according to my factual checks here. Okay, reflecting the administration's continued emphasis on expanded immigration enforcement, which I think is just ridiculous. You all know how I feel about this stuff. I won't even get into it because it's just ridiculous. It's sad, it's ridiculous, and job growth shows signs of slowing. Immigration news around the world continues to evolve. Several countries, including the U.S., are updating visa and border security protocols affecting travel and residency rights for millions. Again, I hate to talk about these things, but I just come on here to provide factual information so you all can know the information, and that's it. You guys can compare, contrast, however you guys want to do it. Make sure you guys are looking up your own information. I just come to share the information that I have. I'm not popular here on YouTube. I'm just coming to share information, okay? So in addition to geopolitical and economic headlines, global sporting events are underway. The World Athletics Cross-Country Championships across multiple continents, protests and political movements continue, from ongoing anti-corruption demonstrations in the Philippines, where human rights activists marched on International Human Rights Day to debate over national policies in Europe and North America. Hello, Miss Mariah. Yes, but that is your world and national update as of today, December 11th, 2025. There's a dramatic escalation in the U.S. right now with Venezuela and its tensions, shift in oil markets, central bank moves, piracy, major military cooperation in Asia, humanitarian crisis in the Middle East, and key domestic policy and economic developments all define the news of the day. I thank you all for tuning in today to War Notes. I am again Pavio G, your host, and please stay informed, stay alert, okay? And we will be back tomorrow, the next day, or later on for more breaking headlines, of course. And I want you all to take care of each other. And thank you, Mr. Ryder. Is it Ryder, Mrs. or Mr.? Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Hello, Ryder. Hello, Miss Mariah. I thank you all for being here. Let me tell you, the Lord is the best. God above is the best. Me, I'm just here to spread the facts. No gossip. No wrong information, just here to spread. I want to go over a couple more things if I can. Let me see if I'm able to. Well, maybe I can save it for the next time. But it's so much going on. Yeah, indeed, Ryder, right? Indeed. It's so much going on that it's hard to pack everything into like one news, right? It's hard to put it just all into one because everybody is suffering in one way or another. Let me see if I don't get cut off of my live completely, and let me see if I can also share some information I wanted to share earlier with you all. But I have some other information real quick, just some extra things that helps me in times like these. Let's talk. Well, I'm going to talk very quickly. I'm going to talk very, very, very quickly. I know it is a lag. Yeah, my internet is terrible. I apologize. And I also went out of the video real quick and came back in. Anyways, if you're living on a tight budget, which we do, I own my own land. We have an RV. We do RV living, and we live on our own land, and we do everything off grid. So our electric is off grid, everything is off grid, and we pay our bills on a yearly basis. So when it comes to our fight, our struggle, we worry about things like food, propane, etc. Give me 1 second, baby. Okay, financial uncertainty is big, okay, and old school wisdom can always help you with different ideas, especially from the Great Depression era. I live history every single day, and everything I do, everything I cook, everything I handle, it's history. And the only time where I'm not really big on history is when I'm doing my off-duty rapping. If you haven't heard that, make sure you check out my videos. I'm the off-duty rapper. You guys should check it out. I got some good lyrics for you guys. But otherwise than that, simple rice and bean stew. It's cheap, it's filling, it stores easily. You can use rice, beans, and a little bit of onion. Opt for oatmeal in the morning. You need some food, you need some breakfast, and oatmeal is the cheapest thing. So today, if you're home, you might want to do some potato and carrot soup or just some potato and onion soup. It's inexpensive, okay? You can cook it slow, you can feed the whole family, you add a little bit of water, a little bit of broth, a little bit of seasoning, and you are good to go. Indeed. As far as stretching your baking for breads and biscuits, use your flour. Mix that with a little bit of water, a little bit of fat and oil, a little bit of salt, nothing fancy, but it helps because bread is even expensive. I went into Family Dollar the other day, you guys, and bread was $5 plus, okay? Also, use a lot of your leftovers, reuse those bits and pieces, those stale breads. You can use it for French toast or bread pudding. Leftover vegetables and soups or stews, you can put that in there. Try to buy in bulk. If you could buy things in bulk, it's better, like your rice, your beans, your flour. You can share it with different family and neighbors. This is a historical average this year that everything is just going really bad for everybody, but we have to stay motivated in one way or another and know that there's ways to get around it. You just have to go back old school. So this is when history really plays into what's going on. Now, as far as coffee is concerned, that's a big thing. I'm a coffee drinker. Recent global supply disruptions and tariff fluctuations have caused retail coffee prices in the U.S. to fluctuate sharply. Some relief may come as import tariffs on certain products are reviewed, okay, but experts warn that prices might stay volatile due to supply chain issues abroad. Now, staples in general like rice, sugar, and basic grains, okay, these things are expensive, but these things are easy to store, and at least you can make a meal for when it's time for Christmas, every day anyways, but every day could be Christmas really. But when it comes to Christmas time and New Year's, people want to gather together and make all these foods and all these other things. Stop thinking about those things. Worry about. There is some mixed news here. I did jump from this topic to this topic with this topic, but it does show you that there's a lot for us humans to consume. And a lot of times it's hard for us to process it all together. But we have to know that if we attempt to process it in the most simplest fashion, we will come to realize that we can do it. You can do it. I can do it. We all can do it. I got a baby in the background with a cold, okay? But here, I'm here trying to set these facts, or not set these facts, but share these facts with you all. I don't have a lot of time in my life. I'm usually always rushing because I have to do housework. I have to do this. I have to do that. I run businesses, small little businesses from home. So there's a lot going on. But before I leave, remember that conflict, market volatility, and political upheaval touch our doorsteps every day through higher prices, economic uncertainty, and scarce resources. But human beings adapt like us. And as history shows, even in the darkest economic downturns, people found ways to survive, right? Sharing food and resources, cooking simply, stretching every dollar that they could do. And right now it's smart to treat food and basics like precious resources. Cook in bulk, reuse, plan economy if it's possible. And remember that hope and solidarity carry. They move real smooth and hold up if you take heed of it. Okay, and we will weather the storm, all of us together. Believe it or not, you all watching me is helping me, and me all talking to you may be helping you. We all help each other in one way or another. Tribe. We are all a tribe. This is a whole tribal community, but we have lost our connections. Okay, we have to plug in the connections in order, plug in the power in order to get the power. We have to plug it in. We have to connect. And we're losing this connection as humanity because of AI and the internet and this and that. The internet is good for a lot of things and it's horrible for other things, okay? But anyways, before I start to get in how horrible the internet and how much it has consumed society, because it has consumed me at least quarter of my life to a certain extent, which I can admit that. And it has consumed at least the rest of the average people in this world, at least 0.25%, because they're constantly on their phones scrolling and all this other things. Anyways, that wraps up the roundup for this week, for today. Just a lot of shift in politics, a lot of global disruptions. But anywho's, I'm Pavio, my baby co-host, baby Victor in the background. He's still rattling, doing his thing. But again, stay alert, and we will be back for more updates as soon as I'm able to bring them to your screen. Have a beautiful and blessed day. I am out of here, you guys.